Welcome back to the Keep Going podcast with Vin Kennedy. I'm your host, Vin Kennedy. Today, we have a solo episode. The main focal point will be my 100-mile race, running 100 miles, August 5th. And I want to talk about it a little bit. The idea of 100 miles is obviously a lot, and it's daunting. And I think when I first wrote this goal down, I read a book by David Goggins in 2020 called Can't Hurt Me. Writing this goal down on a piece of paper, making it real, making it tangible, I even said to myself, that's not going to happen. That's impossible. I think at that point I've ran a half marathon. I think I was gearing up to run my first marathon, which I ran like a 4:40 and absolutely died, had one water bottle and a banana on me. I ran it on the Henry Hudson Trail in New Jersey, and I was begging people for water. I didn't know what I was doing. Now I'm reading David Goggins' book, and I'm saying to myself that I'm gonna run 100 miles, and I didn't believe it. And it's kind of crazy, because now when I look at the idea of running 100 miles, like, I'm absolutely running 100 miles. Like, there's zero doubt in my mind. What really got me to where I am today with running, and I like to think a very like naive rookie runner. I've only been doing it for a year consistently, and the compounding effect of a year and, prioritizing the right things as far as sleep, nutrition, hydration, fueling, and just recovery from my body has propelled my success way further than I thought I'd ever get. I used to think running anything under a 7-minute mile, you're absolutely flying. I had screenshots on my phone that I recently have deleted. That was the first time I ran like 10 miles or 13 miles at an 8-minute pace. I'm like literally the fastest kid alive. And it's just funny how scalable and humbling running could be. I see people now that I'll run a 5K with, or even long runs on the weekends with, that just can absolutely smoke my times. And it's so cool to see, because of course there's people that I'm faster than, but it's just such a relative thing. And what's hard for you is hard for you. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that's running a 5K, if that's running 100 miles, if that's running the Moab 240. If it sucks for you, it sucks for you. And another thing, when you are running and you are putting effort into it, a 5K could be very hard. I just learned that this weekend. A 10K could be very hard. A half marathon can be really hard. A marathon is crazy. And it's just exerting that amount of energy. Though the distances get shorter, your effort gets harder. Not to say that running 100 miles is not hard, because obviously running 100 miles is very hard. But the effort level you're exerting over that period of time is obviously way less, so that you could last for the 100 miles. What really happened was, I started taking running seriously for my first marathon in Colorado, where absolutely bonked the last 6 to 8 miles, just absolutely went through it. From there, started taking my recovery a little more serious, started going to a sauna, and I met a buddy of mine, Dan, who I'm sure most of you are familiar with at this point. Dan invited me to pace him for some of his 100-mile race in December. And this is Dan's world. Dan does a lot of trail running. Dan does a lot of ultra running and long distance stuff. Being there and watching someone do it makes it possible. Like the same idea with Roger Bannister breaking a 4-minute mile. Like, he did it, and then people started doing it all over the world. Like, when someone does something, it's not a hindrance of what you can't do. It's now making it possible, and it's making it something you can do. And that's just been a big perspective switch for me personally. But watching Dan do this, watching my miles build over the year of consistent running, it's a game changer. And like, I look at it like, of course it's going to be hard. Of course there's going to be unexpected things. It's an ultra marathon. It's 100 miles. It's going to be, 24 hours, hopefully less. And God knows what's going to happen, literally. But I will do it. And if I don't do it that race, I'll do another race. Like, it's one of these things now. And the progression with running has correlated so much in my life with just consistency and just showing up. And it doesn't happen overnight. Like, I'm not a fast runner by any stretch of the imagination. My times have definitely increased significantly, but from where I was always the slowest kid on a sports team, like, it wasn't my thing. Anyway, it's just very cool that, you see friends do things, you see people do things, and it really opens your eyes to where you're limiting yourself and your own potential, really. I have this crazy delusional optimist outlook on life where I truly think I could get good at anything. Like, anything. And I know how psychotic that sounds, but it's true. I mean, if you actually put in the dedication and the consistency to anything, you will get good at it. Will you be the best in the world? No, but you'll be as good as you can be at it. And you'll continue that progression as long as you stick with it. And running has shown me that firsthand, because it was something, and you hear it all the time from runners, like, oh, I hated running, or I'm not a runner, or just all the cliche, nonchalant things. And then you see people do some stuff that it's just like, I thought you don't like running. Like David Goggins doesn't like running. Like it's absolutely insane. I think people run for different reasons, but I think it just shows you, it's just one of those very tangible examples of you can get very, very good at anything you do if you just hammer it and just do it consistently. It doesn't have to consume your life like it's consumed mine, but that's generally how I jump into things. And this thing has been so rewarding in other areas of my life as far as building community. It helps me mentally, and then obviously the physical benefits that come along with it as well. And just seeing progression and having a direction to work towards is a game changer. And I think as a young man that I was kind of in a little bit of like I wouldn't even say lost, but I just needed direction. Really finding running, and then that coupled with community, has just transformed this whole year of my life. Running has also taught me delayed gratification, and the wiser I get, the more mature I get, I'm realizing that life is delayed gratification meeting experience. So with that, every day you chip away at the important things like your health, like your mental health, like your family. You do simple things to keep those things in order, sustain those relationships, sustain the relationship you have with yourself. And over time, you look back and you see this monumental growth, and it's just from the daily consistency. And the why I say experience is because life is fragile at the same time. So you don't know, tomorrow's not promised. You don't know when you're gonna die, unfortunately, but we all will. And with that, you need to experience. So an example I've been using, and an example that's just really been hitting home for me, is I go to Italy in September with my mom. You know, obviously Italy's an expensive trip, and you could sit there and say, well, I don't know if that's in the cards right now, should I be doing that? And then I look at it and I'm like, well, what is the alternative? It's like, well, you could go in 5 years or 10 years. And it's like, okay, well, in 10 years, my mom's gonna be, I'm not gonna give out my mom's age, my mom's gonna be X amount of years older. Obviously she's gonna be 10 years older, but she's gonna be X amount of years old now. And she could probably do half of the walking we could do now. Therefore, the experience in Italy is gonna change. To experience and get the optimized result out of an experience in Italy right now, this is the time to go with my mom, because she could do the most amount of walking and we could see and experience Italy as much as we'd ever be able to. So that's why I say experience, because things pop up all the time. And I've been a giant yes man when it comes to just events and trips. And for that reason, losing people younger in life that were close to me really opened my eyes to that, you know, you don't know. You just don't know. Like tomorrow is not promised, and not to get so dark on this, but it's the reality. So coupling delayed gratification with experience will give you a fulfilled life. Yeah, that's really all I have on that. And then just back to the 100. So August 5th in New Jersey, I run the Loopy Looper. It's a 100-mile race. It's a 3.75 mile loop. It's a flat course, and you literally run it until you're loopy, and you hit personally until you hit 100 miles. I'm shooting for sub 24 hours, but if I finish a 100-mile race, I'm happy I finished a 100-mile race. If that's in 25 hours, it is what it is. I'm not gonna really be too time constrained on that type of distance, especially for my first go around. But the moral of the story is that I wrote this goal down and just said no way. Like I did not think it was an actual possibility. And it's July 5th, and to be standing here knowing that in a month I'll run 100 miles, it's just awesome. And it's just a testament to the work I've put in over the year. And even cooler than that, the community that has been built around me through running. I have 10 people that I know, 10 to 15 people that I know that are gonna be at that race. Some are racing, but it's just gonna be an absolute party. Every loop I'll come around and everybody's there at the aid station, and it's gonna be a legitimate party. Just excited for that. Obviously, you know, I don't know what I'll be like mile 90. I don't know how excited I'll be to see people mile 90, but it is what it is, and it's gonna be an experience. And I'm really excited to get out there and do the thing and live through it and feel it and take in all I can. And that's really all I got. Appreciate the time, and like, comment, subscribe, and share.